We've had the latest quarterly knife crime statistics in just the last few minutes for England and Wales. They show that the criminal justice system had to deal with 19,914 knife and offensive weapon offences. That's over the last year ending up to June 2024. It shows an increase, albeit small, of 0.3% compared to the previous year. They also showed that possession of an offensive weapon offences accounted for 27.4% of those offences. I'm joined now by the knife crime campaigner Lucy Martindale. Lucy, thanks so much for joining us. What is your reaction to that data that we've just had? I guess maybe it's not getting much worse, but it doesn't seem like it's improving significantly either.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, not very shocking to me, as I'm quite familiar with these stories and statistics. I would say I believe the statistics to be quite higher, but a lot of knife incidents are not actually reported to the police. So I would say they're a lot higher than we actually know.
As a sort of knife crime campaigner more broadly, can you tell us a bit about the areas that you focus on that you think people don't sufficiently focus on?
Yeah, I more focus on supporting young people that have been in trouble, mainly to do with knives, but other areas also. I support young people in getting housing, help with their mental health, because these services are just in absolute crisis. A lot of young offenders are released from prison with nowhere to live. They're suffering really poor mental health, and the waiting lists are too long. And those two main factors, I believe if there was a lot more support in those areas and they got the correct help, we would see less offending. I do believe that.
Do you think that is something that the new government is focusing on sufficiently?
Not that I've seen so far. I mean, Labour have a really good chance now that they're in to make significant changes. And if they don't act quick enough, then yeah, it's not going to work. But I really do hope the things that they have promised that they will stick to. We need to see change, and we need to see it fast.
Earlier in the week, we were talking a bit about Ronan's Law with the government, and part of that was focused on trying to tackle the sale of knives, in particular suspicious sales, large batch quantities, making sure that age checks aren't circumvented for sales of knives online. Is that something that you think's part of the process and an important step, even if it's not the only step that's needed?
Definitely. I would agree that that will help in some ways to reduce knife violence, but I don't believe it is the be-all and end-all to seeing a huge reduction in knife violence, because we need to look at the root causes and the mindset of these young people. Why do they commit these offences? I mean, if we was to ban all knives, they would then go and use another sharp weapon. So I don't think it's the actual knives that we really need to focus on. It's the mindset behind picking up a knife.
One measure that was mentioned this week was increasing the sentence for some of the crimes related to carrying knives. Is prison the answer or part of the problem?
In recent years, we have seen statistically that no matter how much you increase the sentence for carrying a knife, it doesn't reduce the crime. I don't think locking everyone away that carries a knife is the answer. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be punished. However, locking them all away is not going to stop it, because we do see these people come out and reoffend. So I think we need to take a public health approach like we did in Glasgow, because that was very effective.
And just finally, Lucy, do you see an end to this? Do you think we've started to turn the corner, or are we as far off as we have been for any point in the last few years?
I would like to say we're seeing a difference be made, and I don't think that's from government. I believe that's from people that are out on the ground doing the grassroots work, because government do not give us enough support to help make these changes needed. But we are making a little change, but a lot more does need to be done. And we need help to do that.
Lucy Martindale, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
A quick clarification on some of those statistics that we mentioned. They show that the criminal justice system had to deal with 20,126 knife and offensive weapons offences over the year ending September 2024, not June 2024, a 0.3% increase on the previous year to the end of September.